Oh my gosh, what an experience. I came back to the room and I was like, I have to shoot a video now and share all with you about what we actually experienced, if I would recommend it, everything you need to know. Like, this is the one and only hot air balloon safari guide. You need to watch it. Doesn't matter if it's in Masai Mara or in AMBOSELI. First time in my life, I've never done something like that. So, I'm gonna take you along and let's see. This is unbelievable. But now at least I got used to it. That's 2 minutes. I thought like I'm not gonna shoot any content here. Or I'm gonna lose my camera. To be honest, I did not expect this. Like, my personal highlight was, I don't know, it started by going there and just seeing the hot air balloon. I didn't expect it to be that huge. That's number one. This is happening! It is really happening! So there are different types of hot air balloons. So it can carry maybe up to 10. Then there are ones for 12 or even up to 16 passengers. I think ours was the bigger one for 16. But doesn't really matter. Like, even if you get one of the bigger one. But it was so impressive when we went there and we saw how huge actually the balloon is. So that was the first thing truly impressed me, because I don't know why I thought it was way smaller and cuter. And then another thing what I didn't know, which really shocked me, was I thought I'm gonna be freezing cold. Like, you're gonna be picked up around 4:30, 4:45 a.m. at your camp. Like, the hot air balloon safari will send drivers, they're gonna pick you up, and then they take you to the hot air balloon safari camp, where they actually start off with the briefing, some coffee early in the morning, and then obviously you take off from there. And I thought, like last week we were just in Masai Mara, and then I thought like, okay, in the early mornings it can be freezing cold, and then maybe there's some wind or rain, we are not sure about the weather. So I was wearing a very, very heavy jumper, and I still recommend you should wear or pack a jacket, a light jacket, or a windproof jacket, something like that. And then you wear like layers like this, another jumper, a top, so that you can remove clothes maybe even afterwards. But even on the hot air balloon, I thought it's gonna be cold because of the wind, but it wasn't that cold, because they put the fire, which we need to light the balloon so that the gas can go up, and that is really hot, like in between. So that is something I totally underestimated. So I was actually lucky, because I'm the first person who's gonna freeze. And then what I also really underestimated was, the hot air balloon safari is more like about the animals you're gonna see, and for me personally that wasn't true. Like, we did it here, we are in AMBOSELI, we are not in Masai Mara, and the special thing about AMBOSELI is that you have the view on Mount Kilimanjaro. And this was one of the most unique things in my life. Yes, of course, it would have been amazing if there would have been an elephant. We actually saw giraffes, zebras. There was an elephant, it was just too far to capture. Ostrich, impalas, not buffaloes, but warthogs. But this wasn't even it. Like, really the beauty is about the entire experience going up and then getting so close by sunrise. See Kilimanjaro. I don't know, for me this is just magical. And the impressive thing still is that Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa, which is in Tanzania. But the best way to see it is from Kenya, from here, from AMBOSELI. And I don't think there's any way you can get closer there. Not unless, of course, you go to Tanzania, you hike Kilimanjaro, which I don't want to do. Not now, not yet. But you're welcome to do that too. But there's no other way, like, to get so basically close to it, see it in its beauty. And you must know that Kilimanjaro doesn't show its face like all the time, so it only rises when the clouds are not there. So that is the best time to see Kilimanjaro and to have a clear view. It's in the morning between 6, 7, and then also in the evening between, the same time, maybe from 5, 5:30, 6, 7. And then mostly it gets cloudy again and Kilimanjaro is covered, so you're not gonna see it. And this is exactly the time when you go on the hot air balloon safari. And also one thing you have to know is you have to wake up early. We woke up at 4:15. But it's easier than you thought. I actually was up at 3:45 because I think I was too excited. And then I never found sleep again. So yeah, it's really, I don't even know where to continue. But I note down some notes because you guys have asked me some questions. So I want to answer them so that you know everything. After this video, you don't have to continue Googling, nothing. You're good to go, and then you can make a decision. Am I actually going or not? And so now depends on where you do it. Here in AMBOSELI, it costs you $450 per person if you're a tourist. And the entire experience is like 4 or 5 hours. But at the end of the day, in the air, you are like between, let's say, 45 minutes up to 1.5 hours. Depending on the wind, depends on the situation. So we actually didn't go that long in the air. But I think for us, personally, it was enough. Like, that experience, even if it would have just been 30 minutes, honestly, it would have been worth it for me personally. But the entire experience, because afterwards when you come down, you wait for the drivers, and then you drive out, and then you go to the camp, and you have a champagne breakfast. And don't worry, there's also non-alcohol for the ones who are not drinking like myself. But it was just worth it. And now we just got back, and it's around 10 a.m. So we started waking up 4:15, actually kicking off at 4:45 up to 9:45. So roughly 4 to 5 hours is the entire process. In Masai Mara, if you want to do it, which is actually the most famous one is in Masai Mara, it's around $550. Maybe you will still get it for $500. However, the government added fees, extra landing fees of $50. So now most of the tour companies or hotels charging $550 or maybe even more in future. So, and if you ask me what is my highlight, I will tell you at the end of this video. The one which I would choose personally. So this is a bit tricky because I believe the only time you cannot go is when it's heavy rain or rain in general, so that you can't fly up and you can't see anything. It would be too dangerous. Heavy rain or too strong wind or thunder or something like this. But honestly, here in AMBOSELI or even Masai Mara, it doesn't rain that often, not unless it's the high raining season. So we have different seasons in Kenya. Our main rain season is around April, May. It can be already in March. So we are never sure when it starts, when it's ends. This is our biggest, the heaviest. So I would not recommend you book a hot air balloon safari there. Or if you are going between that time tomorrow and AMBOSELI, you think about, okay, good, maybe you don't book it in advance, but then when you're there and you think, actually, the weather's good, there's no rain, you can still book it while you're here. I hope then you have an additional day or an additional opportunity. Like now, we are staying 2 nights. We booked it for today, our first day, like the second day, but our first proper day in AMBOSELI. But if we would have missed it now because of rain or something, there would be an opportunity to postpone it to the next day. So don't wait until your last day on safari to actually do your hot air balloon safari in case of rain or weather or anything, so that you can postpone it. And in case you don't have time, then you have to get back to your tour company or the person you booked through with, your agent, and maybe there's a refund or something in that possible, because yes, of course, it is quite expensive, an expensive add-on to your safari already. Well, there are just a few actually. For example, for us women, if you're pregnant, you should not fly. If you have any serious medical situations, don't fly. Or if you're in a wheelchair, for example, and you can't stand, because you have to get in, it's a bit challenging, because you have to like climb over that, I don't know how you call that, balloon box, to get in, and then you have to stand. Obviously there would be a way you can also sit down, but then you wouldn't miss like the entire experience. So they say you should be able to stand for at least 1 hour, and then you can go. Yeah, and then also for kids there's a restriction, and that is why you will not see my little one in this video, because you can only go on a hot air balloon safari when you're at least 4 years old. Plus additionally, the captain can say yes or no. Well, we made it, we survived. But to be honest, the only thing what can happen is like out of your own reasons, if you choose to bend over too much or choose to jump out or something like that, obviously that's on you. But the only thing which can happen, and I want to warn everyone here, is when it got a bit dangerous is the landing. Our landing was very smooth.
Landed. We landed.
We landed? Perfect. Can we get out? Oh my god, that feels so weird. We actually landed. They will train you and brief you before you get in, how to get in, and then especially the landing. You actually have a trial landing session before you go up.
Once you get in the basket, I'll ask everyone to sit down, because two reasons: it'll get very, very hot inside the basket, and you'll be in much better, more comfortable position sitting down. And second, we'll try our landing positions.
So you exactly know how to sit down, how to hold yourself tight, so that you are safe in case of anything. I'm still so flushed because I think this was one of the most craziest, beautiful experience I've ever done, especially looking at Kilimanjaro, getting so close. I think this is a once in a lifetime experience. You can never ever have it again or somewhere else apart from here in AMBOSELI. And we did it with Kilimanjaro balloon safaris. And I'm grateful we chose and decided to do it. Wow. And now still think like they're waiting us like a breakfast.
That was good.
Thank you.
They won't let you go.
Inaitwa nashi pai.
Nashi pai means happy. Nashi pai.
That was fun.
I think it's back. Yeah, it's back. Come. That is at You see me, what's going on here?
Thank you.